see. Let's see. Yep, Walpole blackmails the citizens with health care. With a frowny face. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Meanwhile, Luffy and Sanji run into a bunch of Lupins, and Sanji keeps telling Luffy, hey, don't fight. If you fight, Nami will feel it, and she will probably die if you begin to fight. So he says, just dodge and just run past them. That's all you have to do. So they keep going back and forth, and they're dodging and dodging and dodging, and all of a sudden they get to a point where the Lupins are at the high ground, and they start an avalanche, and there's nothing they can do but run. So that's fun. So, yep. So after this avalanche happens, one of the Lapins is like upside down in the snow, and Luffy comes, and there's this like younger kid one, and Luffy comes and basically grabs this adult that's upside down and saves him. And so then they see that as a sign of, oh, you're a good person, you're cool, yeah, let's keep doing this, or we're on your side now, basically. So Wapol is now on the island, and he's trying to get to his castle. And so he sees Luffy, and he's like, hey, you're that guy who attacked us. Hey, I'm going to get you. And he has Nami on his back, so he can't fight. So Wapol and his two goons don't care, so they start to attack him, but the Lapins, like, save Luffy, and in turn save Nami. So an act of kindness goes a long way, basically. And so they're able to, get to the base of the tower, and it's we learn that later it's like a super tall tower. He's so tall he can't see the top. Let's see. Oh, right. And then as Walpole landed, he came into the first village or whatever, and he ran into Dalton. And we learned that Dalton was Walpole's former head of security, and he kind of went against Walpole. And so the avalanche covered a bunch of the people, and oh, touchdown, hooray, they did it, awesome, whatever your name is. Ty Johnson, what the hell is that? Anyways, I just got it on the background. Let's see. And so
tell the audience who just got a touchdown.
I don't even know who that is. Ty Johnson?
I meant what team.
Oh, Buffalo. Anyways, well, they're still losing by a lot, so losing by 12, maybe 11, maybe. Yep, losing by 11. Okay. So Zoro gets a coat. He gets cold, and he's like, hey, there's this whole thing with Zoro. He's just training, and then this avalanche happens, and he runs into Usopp and Vivi, who are on their own adventure trying to find the doctor as well, who we learn is in another town. But nice. And so Zoro finally gets a coat, and he comes over, and these guards are over Dalton's body, who got shot by Wapol's goon. And we learn that Wapol can transform, and they mentioned something about he took a devil fruit. It's called the Ox fruit. And I forgot to mention Wapol. He also took a devil fruit. It's called the Munch fruit, and that's why he was able to eat the shit. Forgot to mention that. And
or the for the Japanese, the Baku no Mi. which translates to the munch munch fruit.
Yep. And they mentioned that Dalton's fruit is a zone type, and now we're getting into different types of fruits. Oh my god, there's so many things in this world. I want to explore it. So he has the Ox fruit, and he's able to transform into an ox, because, ox fruit. And so he turns into that form, and he starts fighting. Wapol gets shot. Then the avalanche happens, covers him. Then his goons are on top, and they're like, no, nobody can come to the snow to rescue Dalton. He's going to stay under here. And Zoro comes, and he's like, hey, I'm pretty cold. Oh, that guy has a coat. So he slashes him and gets his coat. Hey, this is a pretty nice coat. And so they defeat the rest of the guys. They're able to uncover Dalton. Dalton's there. He's like, hey, I'm here. Cool. And he tells them a little more about things and stuff. Let's see. Yeah. Blood. Barely. Oh, right. And this is where Luffy gets to the base of the tower, and he climbs the tower. Sanji got knocked out by the avalanche, and he has to carry both Nami and Sanji. Their lives are literally in his hands. So he uses his mouth to carry Sanji, and he uses his arms and legs to climb. He doesn't have any climbing equipment. He also doesn't have any gloves on. He also doesn't have any shoes on. So, for whatever reason, he's not cold? Question mark, I guess. But he climbs the tower, and it's bloody, and he barely makes it. Luffy almost passes out. Climbing the 5-kilometer tower. And if you don't know what 5 kilometers is, that is 3.12 miles. That is insane for climbing, especially carrying 2 other people on your back. At one point climbing that tower, one of his nails breaks or something, so his hands and feet are all bloody from the bare rock and the cold of this tower, and it's like 50 below, Celsius, so that's about maybe about 10 below, 20 below. It's still cold, still freaking cold. But he's able to climb this. He barely gets up, and at that point, he gets rescued by, I think it's Chopper that does it.
Tony Chopper.
Yep. And so they're rescued. They're put in this. They're all now dying, and luckily the doctor's up there, and she puts Luffy in bed, she puts Sanji in bed, and she puts Nami in bed, and they mentioned, oh, is it a Kestia? And the episode ends. So that was episodes 81 through 83. All right, episodes 84 to 86. So we learned that in tropical jungles, if you don't wear a shirt, you can get bitten by a tick called a Kestia bug, and you get a big fever, and if you don't get treated in 5 days, you will die. And Nami learns this. Luckily, Dr. Kureha has a cure from 100 years ago, and she kept it, thankfully.
Not only is it tropical that they're found in, it has to be like prehistoric tropical. They mention.
I see.
Like they're extinct basically, because it mentions that she was lucky that she had any of the cure left.
Yep. So this is where Nami keeps looking at this like reindeer with the pink hat, and the reindeer with the pink hat keeps like looking at Nami, and Nami says something to her, or to him, And she's like, wait, you can talk? Ah, and he starts like running away. We learn that his name is Chopper, and we learn of his backstory, how Chopper is Dr. Kureha's medical assistant, and Chopper was a fruit called
the Hito no Mi, or the human fruit.
Yep, that's it. And has human traits, so walks on two legs, can speak, has emotions, shows them a lot. And we get the backstory of how Chopper ate the fruit, has a blue nose, by the way, and was an outcast even in its reindeer society because of his blue nose. But then when he ate the human fruit, he was considered an outcast even more. So he was officially like kicked out, and tried to go into human form and to talk to humans, but the humans just shot at him, called him a monster, and he felt like really bad, and was trying to just run away, and was just crying and stuff, and upset that he's not accepted by anyone, except by he's actually found by a guy named Dr. Hiriluk. Did I say that right? Hiriluk?
Yep.
Yeah.
That guy.
And, yeah, so Chopper was severely injured, and Dr. Hiriluk brought him in and says, hey, we're both outcasts because of the doctor purge. He is one of two doctors that are left on the island.
It's not under Wapol. Because there are others, just they're under Wapol's orders.
It is under Wapol because this was 6 years ago, remember?
But he isn't. I was just saying they aren't the only two. Because there's 20 doctors that are under Wapol.
Oh, yeah, the 20 MDs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's right. His decree was
that the only doctors allowed on the island he controlled.
Except for 20 that are under his,
yep.
that are under him. Right. So Chopper and Dr. Hiriluk bond. They do stuff every day. He kind of teaches them about medicine, and he's slowly getting better. And after a year goes by, he mentions that a story about there was a thief who got sick one time and was looking for all these cures. He kept going to doctor, and then he saw like these cherry blossoms, and it was the most beautiful thing ever, and immediately cured him. And he went to the next doctor, and he said there's nothing wrong with you. You're cured of anything. So his life's so he's been working on this because of the story. He's been working on this cherry blossom recipe, invention, or whatever. And he mentions that after a year of curing Chopper, he says, "Oh yeah, you're completely healed," and he kicks him out. Kicks Chopper out. Chopper feels betrayed, and then Chopper starts hitting himself on the head on the tree to say, "Hey, look, I'm hurt again. I need your help, doctor." But there was a reason why he was pushing away Chopper. I'll never shoot you, but he kind of does. And the reason is because he was dying, and he didn't want Chopper to be there. He'd rather, see him. He'd rather have him be mad at him than be sad for him, I guess. And he told Dr. Kureha, like, I have this, I need you to finish my work. I might not be done. Please tell me how many days I have left. I need to know if my work of 30 years will be complete or not. And to also take in Chopper. And she says no. And so he's at his house, and it also flashes back to a cure-all mushroom. What was it called? Amidake mushroom. And he said, like, if I could get that, then I could be, you can be cured of anything. And so I think Chopper overheard that he's dying or something like that. And he goes on a quest to find this mushroom, runs into his old reindeer flock. They get into a fight. He's able to survive. Finds a mushroom, jumps across this ridge or whatever, gets it, comes back, makes some soup for him, and then he's like, oh, it tastes really bad, but that just means it's good medicine, and then makes Chopper really happy. And he says, Chopper, I'm going to go up to the top and try to... there's like a... Waffle did a trick saying the doctors are all dying. They have a disease or something like that. And Waffle's whole thing, Dr. H's, Dr. Hiralux, dream was to cure the country, because Waffle was and still is a horrible leader.
A tyrant.
Yeah, basically. He's just handed his dad died, and he was the son, so he just became king, and he doesn't know he doesn't know shit. I mean, stuff. He doesn't know stuff. My bad.
He doesn't know shiitake mushrooms.
Yep. He has the other mushroom. And so Dr. H goes to the top, and he's like, hey, I'm here to help the doctors that are up here. And Waffle's like, haha, you've been fooled. There's nothing. Now I'm gonna either arrest you, or you can either leave, or we'll shoot you. Those are my orders. That's the new law. And so he's like, oh, don't worry about that. And he's like, I've lived a good life. And he drinks some sake, I guess, and he blows up. And Dr. Correa, excuse me, I was with the bird. Dr. Correa is talking to Chopper, and Chopper says, oh, I gave him this mushroom. And she goes, what symbol was by that mushroom? And Chopper goes, oh, a skull and crossbones. That's the sign of good things, of like, he was also told, like, pirates are adventurers and go live in the sea. And the symbol of his pirate flag, which had cherry blossoms on it, was to try to, save the country. And then he blows up, and she realizes that it's not going to cure him. It's just going to make him dead. And this devastates Chopper, because Chopper thought he was helping, and in reality he wasn't. But Dr. H is relieved that the doctors are fine, and then he dies, and that's when
he would have died in 24 hours with the mushroom.
He would have died anyways. So it was the last hurrah, basically.
And he was aware of it. He was aware that he was gonna die.
He was aware for a long time. That's why he went to Dr. Correa to ask how many.
No, he was aware that he took the mushroom.
Oh yeah, he was aware he took the mushroom. Absolutely. He knew it was poisonous. So anyway, so he died, and Chopper calls Dr. Correa Doctorine. I don't know why. I don't know. Is that significant or anything? I don't know. Just Doctorine. And Waffle then arrives at the castle. sorry, that was a long. There was a lot that happened in that backstory. I'm surprised I remembered as much as I did, but it's a really good backstory just for the reindeer. And I mean, is it the best story of all? No. Was it a good story? Yes. Was it a great story? It's close to great.
Was it well thought out? Yes.
Yes.
Or well written? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. So,
as in mostly all the characters in One Piece is well written.
yes, which is why I am enjoying One Piece so far. Anyways, episode 87. Dr. H's flag is flying high above the castle, and so it basically represents healing for the country and that they're in. Also during this time, which is pretty great, everybody on the ship was like super hungry because they ran out of food too. Or maybe that came later. But anyways, they were hungry because they climbed the mountain. They were all exhausted. And Luffy and Sanji see this reindeer that's walking around. They're like, "Ooh, meat! Ooh!" And then Sanji's like, "No, you can't eat it. I gotta cook it first." And they're just chasing around Chopper everywhere in this castle.
Yeah, that's after. Or no, that's before the fight with Wapol.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Because Luffy chases Chopper for a completely different reason afterwards.
Yep. He does. So let's see. So Dr. H's flag, we talked about that. And then Wapol comes and he says, "Hey, that flag is up there. I don't like that flag. That flag is not mine. I'm going to take my castle back." And so we start a fight. And Wapol asks, Sanji does a Gumu Gumu shot. He kicks Luffy into Wapol, which is funny. And Wapol's still alive. He's like, "Oh, that guy's still alive. Okay, cool." And Wapol, we see what his powers are, and he does the Wapol house. And so basically what that means is that when he eats non-edible items for food, and he, like, that day they're like, "What did I eat today?" "Well, you ate some cannons, you ate some gunpowder, you ate another, like a house, you ate this other thing." And so he does a Wapol house, so he eats his two subordinates, and they come out stacked on each other, they're powered up, and then Wapol has a bunch of, like, cannons on him, so he's able to fire cannons at people. Luffy mentions that the skull means a mark of faith, and Luffy's on top, and Wapol is trying to shoot it at the flag, and he has a stern look of Luffy, like, "You shoot at me, I dare you." So he does, and Luffy's alive still, and kind of ruins Nami's jacket. We'll get that a little later. So this is where Chopper starts to fight, and he's like, "I will not let you take that flag. That flag represents my friend and what it means of the healing of this country, and you will not do it." And Luffy is impressed by this, that he's willing to put his life on the line, kind of thing. And he's like, "That guy's awesome. We need a doctor." And Chopper eats a thing called a rumble ball, and it is a thing he's been working on for like 6 years. And when he eats it, he's able to transform. And this is where we learned about what the Xeon fruit is.
Zone.
Zone type fruit is. It is a 3-form transformation fruit. So you have 3 forms, but this Rumble Ball lets him add 4 more forms to that. So he can do 7 transformations. And he uses all of them in this fight when he's fighting the 2 subordinates that are stacked on each other. So that's kind of cool. And he's like, yep, this will give me power for 3 minutes, and I'm going to beat you in 3 minutes. And that's exactly what he does. Pow, pow, pow. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Then we get a Gumma Gumma blowgun in there. Luffy and Wapol are fighting on their own. And they get all the way to the, I think Wapol, I think he goes inside the castle. That's what it is. Yep. He goes inside the castle. He finds Nami. Nami's walking around and she shouldn't be. And he starts attacking him, he starts attacking her. And there's a key that he has, the arsenal key, and she steals it from him. He's like, oh, this might be interesting. This might be useful for later. And Wapol goes up. Wapol gets found by Luffy, and they start fighting, and they get to the very top of the tower, and he finds his gun. It's like a seven barrel cannon. Wapol does, and he's like about to fire it at Luffy. He keeps holding down the lever, but nothing's happening because it's all frozen. It hasn't been used in a long time. And there's birds nesting in one of the barrels, which is pretty cool. And then Wapol gets defeated, and he has no chance against Luffy. Let's be honest here, no chance. And he gets defeated, and he gets blown away, and his subordinates follow after him. All right, so then we get to learn about the arsenal key, and Dr. Kurena's like, hey, didn't he have an arsenal key on him? And they're like, no, we didn't see any key, nothing like fell off or anything. What was that? Arsenal. Yeah. And he's like, well, I wish we could find it. And then Chopper, for whatever reason, joins the crew after Luffy says, hey, shut up, join my crew. And
chases after him.
Yep, chasing after him. And he's like, oh, okay, well. And yeah, Chopper's like super emotional and like says one thing but feels another thing kind of thing, instead of like being on the inside where we think how emotional we think on the inside. It's all showing emotion and stuff like that. So he joins the crew, and he tells Dr. Kureha that he's joining the crew after Luffy chases him around like for half of the episode that currently is there. And also what happens is Nami uses the key as she was like, oh, so she asks Dr. Kureha, so what's the payment for you carrying us? She's like, well, I'm going to go to your ship and take half your stuff, and you have to stay here for at least 2 more days. And Nami's like, well, didn't you say you were looking for a key? She just has the key out and outsmarts her and says, well, payment, instead of that, I'll give you this key. And she's like, all right, but I'm going to be leaving, and my coat is in the closet, guarded by no one. And what else does she say? And there's a rope lift outside that you probably shouldn't go on. And another thing, she was basically telling her in code, like, how to leave, like where stuff is and how to leave. and then Chopper